Welcome back, everybody, to episode 4 of season 5 of Mock Draft Monday on the Cardinal Rule. Very happy to have all of you back here today on the day that we celebrate this national holiday of the opening of free agency. I am your host yet again tonight, second week in a row. You're very welcome, Kyler Bird. And I'm joined again by my two lovely co-hosts here, Brian and Drew. How have you guys been celebrating?
I've been having a great day. Everyone crashing out on every app. It's been so great.
Oh, it's always a good time. Always a good time, isn't it? I love that. Well, since last week, how have you been, Brian? Doing good?
I was we were kind of down last week a little bit, and now actually I kind of feel like competency is actually hitting the Cardinals like a little bit more than people actually want to give them credit. But hey, let's just crash out for likes. Just kidding. I'm not going to do that today.
Nice. How about you, Drew?
I am doing good. Just a quick heads up, I'm getting a little bit of feedback on my mic, so I'm going to try and stay muted so I'm not blasting anyone's ears out, and I will try and keep my stuff brief today. But overall, I'm happy. This is one of those things, like, this is the route that I wanted us to take going in. I have had to remind myself sometimes when you see every signing that we don't get, that it's like, stay the course, stay the course, stay the course. And I've probably been called an idiot more times today than I have in any singular day. But you know what? I don't care. I'm standing firm with this is the right direction.
You have to be firm in your own beliefs, don't you? Especially when you're a fan of this team. So before we start talking about free agency stuff, let's address a few people who are in the chat already. One of our OGs, one who's always in here, Silver Wolf. It's good to see you, man. Let's go. Happy to talk about free agency here in the first part of the show, and then we'll be talking, of course, about some mock drafts as we go on. Chris Young, good to see you back from last week. Yes, we will get to talk about the free agency stuff here at the top. And then Chris Young also does have a very, very valid question here. He says, since I often stand in for Papa Joe, does that mean that I get the title of stepdad with a winky face? Well, Chris, I need you to go clean your room.
Maybe step MILF for the Michael Floor. There you go.
There you go.
I thought we established the fun uncle last year who threw the chart when he threw the chart away.
Yeah, we did have fun uncle going on, and I think I'll keep that title. It makes me a little less uncomfortable than stepdad. So we'll go with uncle for now, okay? Thank you, though, Chris. I appreciate it. So let me pull up our slides because I do have a list of what we have signed in free agency, both re-signings and new players. So let me get that up real quick. But while I do, what's your most general takeaway from what you've seen so far today? You go ahead and start, Brian.
My general takeaway is that we did not give Malik Willis $30 to $40 million. That everyone on the last 2 weeks were quoting these random numbers pushed by agents, pushed by whoever wanted to actually listen about when we were negotiating like against ourselves. And weird how everybody wanted to come with this take about, our coach is the Packers brother, and he has all this intel on him, and let's go ahead and push this because if he's good, he's going to tell us this. But is that actually what happened? No, we actually decided to pass once it became over $20 million or more. We're like, nope, let's not do that. Let's not give him an inflated contract that's going to be, it's only $8 million this year, but then the next 2 years you're paying $20+ million. And then, not to mention, let's just say he hits. But in year 2, he's going to be asking for another contract again. So is this really like something everyone wanted to get into? But I'm not going to declare the season over because we didn't sign a backup QB that has less than 50 dropbacks. So I can stomach the Gardner Minshew at $5.75 million instead of $45 million guaranteed, and actually would have been higher because you would have had to beat that offer. And I'm completely fine with it. I know people are going to say that, Jacoby being the actual starter and whatnot. So we have two quarterbacks on 1-year deals. So that money comes off the books next year. I don't remember if there's a void year in there or whatnot. We'll see when the actual numbers come out, if there is anything like that. But they signed a starting running back. They signed a wide receiver 3. They signed the best probably guard on the market. And going into free agency, what did we say? We wanted to build the actual trenches and not make any, at least me, don't make any stupid contracts. And I think today they didn't make any stupid contracts. Somebody else may have sold you on Malik Willis making all this money. Not going to be me. No, that just makes no sense to then sit here and say that with all this intel, having 3 or 4 weeks. Monty was there when he was drafted out of Liberty. Probably helped scout him there like in the 3rd round. So we had all this intel, and they decided to pass once it actually got too crazy. I'm fine with it. So right now, free agency, good, and it's just day one, guys. It's just day one. It's not over, and everyone wants to declare it over, but it's not over. It's day one. Not even what are we not even 24 hours in. There's still plenty of other free agents on the market, and their number is starting to come down because money is starting to dry up faster. And not to mention, you've opened yourself up to trade possibilities too, because your cap space hasn't really changed that much. There's still probably like $40 million in cap space if they choose to do that. And also they can make some more cap space too. And Durant. Sorry.
Right. Well, before we go down this list and just do a sort of player by player of the players that we did sign, Drew, do you have any rants about the player that we didn't sign today? The big name that was out there in the ether, connected to us by everyone, seemingly. Malik Willis was the name that is sort of, dependent on your point of view, either been haunting you or giving you hope for the next year. Do you have any thoughts about that before we go to the players who are now actually Arizona Cardinals?
I have plenty, but I'll keep it brief. It's a weird place to be in when I had kind of mentally already resigned myself to the fact that he was just probably going to be here and I was just going to have to deal with it. So I had kind of, come around to that mindset, and then to get outbid by a team with less cap space was kind of like, from an optic standpoint, it kind of hurts. But overall, I wasn't really that interested in bringing him in off the small sample size anyway. So I think this is the right route. Just, so I'm going to double down on everything Brian said. I mean, Monty has passed on more free agents this period than Malik has passes in the NFL. So that tells you anything.
Wow, that is a tough roast there. Chris Young, with the perspective, as always, doom and gloom that always happens on day one of free agency is always crazy. Yeah, I mean, when your GM doesn't do something within the first hour of free agency, you will see fans losing their minds. And in our little group chat, 3 of us have a very active group chat during draft season. I mean, as a fan, I do understand. I want to see my team in the headlines, getting big names that I recognize. But that's not always the smartest way to build a team. And regardless, that is just not how Monty Ossenfort's going to work. And he is still the GM right now. We just have to be used to that, and we have to live with that. That is not what we're going to get. We're not going to get the time massive 35-year-old legend who's coming to collect a retirement check that gave you that little hit of dopamine because it was a big name and you did kind of love it. You love the taste of it, and then it never worked out. So we have had both of those extremes as Cardinals fans. And even though there have not been the results that we've necessarily wanted here so far with Monty Ossenfort, I still mostly align with that philosophy a little bit more. So let us just go down this list of who we actually have signed, because we didn't get Malik Willis. But who we did get is Gardner Minshew on just a 1-year deal. The base contract is 5.75, and there are incentives up to $8 million. So even with $8 million, that is a remarkably affordable deal for a quarterback in the NFL. There's nothing wrong with the money there. And then report came out a few hours after the signing from Gambo that the plan is Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby Brissett is QB1 for the 2026 season as of right now, and Gardner Minshew will come in as his backup. So, starting with you, let's start back with Drew. What are your thoughts on Gardner Minshew coming in as the backup?
It doesn't even feel like that long ago when Gardner Minshew and Kyler Murray were in offensive rookie of the year conversations. That's
Yeah.
what's crazy to me, to think just how much things have changed since then. I mean, it's fine. I think after Willis, any option that you could have brought in was just a bridge option. So, whichever one Mike felt most comfortable with was fine by me. So it's whatever. It's a body for a backup. I don't have many other thoughts beyond that. It doesn't do anything to prevent you from getting a quarterback next year. So
Yeah.
I like it.
What about you, Brian?
Yeah, I was just fine with it. I was a little bit intrigued because he's not like your normal backup, like as if he does not like that Jacoby type clone. He's a little bit shorter. He's only about 6 foot. He played sparingly last year. Obviously, he had that weird injury where they thought he tore up his knee, and then it just ended up being like just like this freak, smaller injury or some knee injury. So I was just a little bit confused with that. Considering that there's also people that were, mad that we lost out on Jimmy G instead of him. I was even more fine with it because they pivoted right away to somebody else. That I'm assuming Mike LaFleur was probably like, "Hey, if we don't get Jimmy G, I'm fine with this guy." And once again, it is a 1-year deal for less money guaranteed than what Jacoby's probably making. I think he's making like 7.5 million or something like that. So I was just fine with it. It's a backup quarterback where if, something happens, he can come in for like a couple games or, he can play and that drop off isn't that significant. So, and starter experience.
Yeah, I agree. Like starter experience is always a good thing to have in a backup. It's why we brought Jacoby Brissett in originally, was he had some starting experience, and Gardner's started in Jacksonville and Indy. Um, his best season, let's see, he had 3,300 passing yards and a 15-9 touchdown to interception ratio, which I mean isn't incredible. But he came out into the league pretty hot. His rookie year was good. Like Drew said, he was competing with Kyler Murray for Offensive Rookie of the Year there for a hot minute. He had 3,200 passing yards that year, 21 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. Don't know why he's progressively gotten worse every single year in the league, but he has played decent football in the NFL at points. Just don't look at his very few snaps from KC. Don't go to PFF. Don't do it. It's just red squares everywhere. That will not make you feel any better. But he has had some above average scores throughout his career, according to PFF, and some decent production. But as weird as it is to say, I hope he never has to see the field because I hope Jacoby Brissett is out there. I mean, it is what it is. So let's move on to the next one. One I think we're all a little bit more actively excited about. Running back Tyler Algier, 2-year deal, $12.25 million. So only coming in at a little bit over $6 million a year for a running back who has really pushed Bijan Robinson at times. He's been taking goal line snaps from him through his whole career when Arthur Smith was there. Tyler Algier is a legit player. So this one was the first one that dropped for the day, and this is probably the second most exciting one from this list for me. Like Tyler Algier is a legitimate running back in this league with a 1,000-yard season under his belt. Has played in a wide zone offense that I think will be exactly what Mike LaFleur is doing here. Like LA was running it 4 times more than we were last year with the wide zone. So he kind of is the tailor-made running back for this. And with James Conner coming off such a nasty ankle injury last year and 31 years old. There's just no guarantee what type of player he's going to be. As much as I love him, and I do think he's the heart and soul of the offense, although Trey McBride took that baton just fine after Connor went out. It does signal something to me, though. I think this coaching staff kind of hates Trey Benson, like does not like him actively. I think fans are much more fans of Trey Benson than this coaching staff is, and even the previous coaching staff, who also has injury problems. And Algier is a pretty reliable guy, so health wise and athleticism. So Tyler Algier really stood out to me earlier in the day. What do you think about Algier, Brian?
Considering, well, there's two things I think about it. It's a 2-year deal. I want to see the guarantees and how that kind of breaks down. James Conner was restructured for a 1-year deal, so he is the definition of an insurance policy for us. Now, I think that considering Travis Etienne got like $45 million, this is a steal. You didn't have to pay. I mean, this is basically you're paying probably Connor and Algier and a third or a half of what the top of the market's getting, and you have competency. And it was a signal of we're not going to have Bam Knight playing for us or starting 6 games. And we've already seen DeMarcado gone. Michael Carter's probably gone. So we're seeing a turnover in the room. And also to reiterate your point at the end, this is going to be a run-heavy offense more likely. I mean, especially with we've already established the quarterback there being Jacoby Brissett. And then we'll get to the other signings too about how they want to establish multiple tight ends and run heavy. And then last point is how bad were we last year? And like 3rd and 3, 4th and 2 or whatnot. This gives you another weapon or piece to use to be able to try to pick that up and extend drives, which shortens the game, keeps your defense off the field, et cetera, et cetera. So you can basically see the vision here, and it's a low risk, high reward type of actual deal.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with all of that. Tyler Algier has never fumbled in the NFL. Love that. And his first 3 seasons in the league, he put up elite PFF grades in rushing, 80 plus in all of them. His worst grade was actually last year at 71.5, which was the year he had the most touchdowns. He had 8 touchdowns last year. So, like, Algier is a real, true player in the league. He is not just some backup who's going to be lucky to make the 53 roster. Like, he is going to be competing with an older injured James Conner and a questionable Trey Benson for starting snaps, I think. Like, he has that sort of skill set. Drew, do you have something about Algier real quick?
Yeah, I think he's your Kyron Williams 2.0. Like,
I hope so.
Yeah, he slots right into that role. I think it's perfect. The other thing about Connor is he got that knee injury in week 4 of last year, it was an ankle injury. And recovery from surgery on that can take anywhere from 6 to 12 months. So when exactly is he going to be ready? Will he be ready by week 1? I'm not saying he won't be, but we don't know. And so this is a little extra added insurance for that case as well. And like you said, I think this signals that Benson needs to really step it up, or he's probably going to be on the outs. Mike got to see him 2 times a year and decided he needed to go out and sign Tyler Algier. So that kind of tells me a lot about what they think about Trey Benson, which I was not the biggest Benson fan when we got him. I was more of a Braylon Allen guy. Neither of them have really worked out, so whatever. We're both wrong on that, but whatever. But he has flash. So, I mean, he did average, 5.5 yards per carry last year. So, whatever. Bring someone into the room. If that lights a fire on him and he develops, awesome. Now you've got a 3-headed monster. If not, then at least you've got the 2. So, I like it.
Rafael Castillo, what up? Hey, thank you for being here. And also, Rafael, how are we feeling about tank season? That was my preferred strategy. Malik Willis would have signaled to me that they really were just going to throw the cards on the table and try to win with someone who might be good, like really risk it all on the potential of Malik Willis. Gardner Minshew is 100% the signal. We're not expecting to be good this year. We are not expecting to win a ton of games. Jacoby Brissett cannot be your future of quarterback of the future. Like by age, he can't. And Gardner Minshew, I mean, come on. Like I don't think I need to say that much more about that. So unless they do something wild in the draft, like wild, like move up and get Fernando Mendoza, we're not planning to win a ton of games in 2026. I think that's just the reality of it. We are building the future right now so that hopefully whoever we can draft in 27 will come into a solid team who has some team camaraderie. They've worked together for a year, and you just got to click in this one last piece instead of doing what we did to Kyler Murray, which ruined him, throwing him into the worst team in the league and be like, hey, you can run really fast. Why don't you do that a lot? And just try to win us games like that, because your offensive line sucks. Your wide receivers are, forgive me for the blasphemy, a really, really old Larry Fitzgerald, and like that is what we did to Kyler Murray, which is often the case with these number one overall picks. They get shoved into terrible situations. And maybe that is a sign for good that right now we are trying to build a team that can accommodate a young quarterback in 27. But let's move on to the next free agent so we can get through this section, actually get into some mocks. All right. So we also signed wide receiver Kendrick Bourne to a 2-year, $12 million deal, so about $6 million a year for the former San Francisco 49ers. So it looks like we got a wide receiver 3, right? We got our slot receiver, which might change some of how our mock drafts go, taking these slot receivers. It looks like our Zay Jones replacement, our Zach Pascal replacement, a little bit bigger, but still has the route running for the slot, I think. Brian, thoughts about Kendrick Bourne? Like, not the most exciting player, but pretty solid.
I hope he's not a Zach Pascal replacement like you might have suggested, because that means he's just going to block 70 times a year or whatever it is. I think it's fine. I think it's just a low another low contract from a guy that's from the Shanahan tree, which Mike LaFleur is from. He's got to know a little bit of that offense. Because more than likely Mike LaFleur's offense is going to be a blend of McVay and a Shanahan type of system. So I have no problem with them signing him, because he in his limited opportunities last year in a really bad wide receiver situation for San Francisco, he did well when he was given opportunities.
Yeah, agreed. Drew.
Yeah, I think it's just just a solid veteran who's produced everywhere he's been, outside of like the 1 year when New England tried to make him a wide receiver 1, which we're not making him that, so I'm not worried about it. Might even be a slight step above Dortch in terms of consistency. So, like I said, it's not a real splashy name, not a real sexy name, but I don't think we necessarily needed one there, and I also don't think it prevents us from taking a late round flyer on a guy that could be more of a long term replacement for him. So. It's fine. I'm good with it. Didn't overpay. It works for me.
Does anyone think he's a Marvin Harrison Jr. Replacement?
Oh my gosh.
No, I'm totally kidding, guys. I'm full of jokes today I've been seeing online.
Twitter is a cesspool website that has some of the craziest takes you've ever seen ever on it. But
we're going to leave Clancy alone for this, because for the most part, he's at least been in the right mindset this offseason.
Yeah. So before we get to our, I think, marquee free agent signing, I will run through. I don't think we need to even give any thoughts on this, really, the players that we've re-signed. So we started on Sunday with just a bunch of re-signings of players, bringing them back. So we've re-signed Chad Ryland on a 1-year deal. I wasn't able to find the terms for it, but I would assume it's nothing crazy. And I don't think there's anything wild about that. Ryland, it's a little hit or miss, but his percentages under 50 are really good. He's won us a lot of games. He's lost us a few games. Like, he's a kicker, they do that. Punter Blake Gillikin, a 1-year deal, 2.65. Love that. Before he got hurt in week 5, 5, 6, He was leading the league in punt average. He still ended the year tied for lead in punt average. When he's healthy, he's a really, really good player. So glad to have him back. We have brought back defensive lineman LJ Collier again. We've kind of been bringing him back on these short deals because of the injury stuff, and we brought him back on another 1-year deal for $2.5 million, which is fine. It's very cheap. He in the past has said stuff like he's happy taking these, I guess, cheaper deals than you would expect for a former first round pick, because Arizona stuck around and helped him through his injuries, and he felt like he owed it to them, which is a team loyalty thing that you don't see very often in league. So I appreciate LJ Collier as a person, and when he is playing, he's good depth. I'm totally okay with him being a depth piece on the line. Do either of you have something to say about him? Drew, maybe? No, okay. Thought you did.
I don't really have much about it. Like I said, he's a good veteran who can help integrate new bodies into the system because he knows it well. But I will add that just for clarification, I just looked it up on Sport Track. Looks like Ryland was 1 year, 1.8.
Okay, yeah, that's a fine deal for a kicker. Good with that. And then we also re-signed, with a 1-year hiatus in between, Roy Lopez, who did leave last offseason. He spent a year with the Detroit Lions, which was a pretty decent year for a rotational guy. At 2-3 sacks with Detroit, several quarterback hits, some good hurries. He is also a really good rotational piece. Neither of these are going to change your defensive line, but I do think they're both good second and third options. We just need to find that actual number one hitter for both of them. But Roy Lopez can actually play nose tackle really well, which with the release of Dalvin Tomlinson, I think is really important that we bring someone back with that sort of nose tackle experience. So for Roy, it is a 2-year, $11.5 million deal. So good for him. He got paid. I think he's also a local boy from Arizona, right? So nice to bring him home. And I think he's a good rotational player too. Pretty happy with that. Now, the player, before we get to our mocks, the player from free agency so far, I do think, is former Pittsburgh Steeler, and I think Philadelphia Eagle left guard Isaac Seumalo. Praise God. I was happy when we started with Tyler Algier. Didn't know what to think about Gardner Minshew. Didn't really know what to think about Kendrick Bourne. And then we hit Isaac Seumalo. And this saved the day to me. This is arguably the best interior offensive lineman in the free agent class this year total. It was a 3-year, $31.5 million deal. So for a really top guard, who's granted a little bit older, but still a top guard in the league, a little over $10 million a year, that's cooking. The Seumalo pickup is chef's kiss to me. This is the best thing we've done today so far. Let's go ahead and start with you, Drew. I know you were happy about this.
I love my interior offensive linemen. I think they're undervalued. I think when you start looking at some of these contracts, especially that are coming this year, 16, 17, 18 million dollars for guards, it's quickly becoming a premium position.
Yep.
Yes, he's 32 years old. I get it. He's not going to be your answer in 6-7 years. We don't need that right now. We need some experience and just an anchor to kind of shore up the interior. Now you can add a right tackle, and then you've got an actual decent line. It could be a rough year, but if we can get the running game actually going again, it might not be quite as rough. We're still probably not going to win a lot of games, but at least you can control the line of scrimmage. We won't be losing 40-7 so many times.
And you know what? And Drew was actually one who brought this up in the group chat, so let me give him credit for that now. 0 penalties last year. Doesn't that sound nice having an offensive lineman? Sounds pretty good to me, not gonna lie. Brian, come on. You love this too, right?
I love this signing. No, yeah, I had the lowest pressure rate, I believe, by Next Gen Stats. Yeah. PFF had him rated as the top guard for us. I mean, not for top guard out of the whole free agency. And people can miss me with, oh, he's 32 years old, he turns this or whatever. It's $19 million guaranteed money. It's probably going to be more of a 2 to 2-year deal with probably a 3-year out. You just went from having no offensive line guys on for having a guard. Plus, you're going to have him play right next to Paris Johnson Jr. That's going to make him better. So you got Paris, you got Suminalo, and then you have, I probably just said his name wrong, and you have Yoda. So let's figure out that right side of the line, and we should be cooking with something. So
Yeah, I'm excited for the left side of the line.
mhm.
I like that is really solid. And if you're going to run these wide zone things, I think we're just going to be running to the left this year, boys, because unless we knock right tackle out of the park somehow, with either free agency, which I don't expect, or most likely, as you will see in our upcoming mocks, through the draft, figuring out right tackle if he turns into this, rookie phenom, maybe. But I'm excited for the left side of the line. I think it's going to be pretty good with him there. So
And then,
I was
well,
gonna say,
just one
real quick, spoiler alert: a lot of first round picks in the tonight are gonna look the same.
yeah, you're gonna notice some patterns. Now, Drew, Brian, and we all waited a little bit into the day before we did our mocks, but we all did them before the Isaac Samalu pick as well. So there is that, and the other ones were submitted prior to that. So keep that in mind through the mocks that we go through tonight. That this is all done before that signing, and some of the other ones that were submitted in were from just pre-free agency completely. So we'll keep that in mind. And one last thing about the age, Sayamalo, I don't care. Offensive and defensive linemen are on a different timeline than skill position players. 32 years old is fine. This isn't like getting a 32-year-old wide receiver. That would make you, question everything. But a 32-year-old left guard, I think I'm going to be okay with it. It's a 3-year deal. At the end of that, he'll be 35. It's not even crazy for him to get a contract past that. Like offensive linemen can play a little bit longer. So I am not worried about it.
That just gave me an idea. I'm gonna go scour everyone's page that's talking about 32-year-old Samalu and see how many of them wanted Amari Cooper last year.
Oh, yeah. Do that real quick.
and
All right. So
just
are
a
you guys
small
ready
tidbit on
to
him,
get
too,
into the mocks?
Yeah, just to end on that, according to Brandon Fiocco, I don't know if you guys know who he is on there. He tried to fight Jake Paul. That's a whole different story. But he said
Yeah,
that
Semi's brother, right?
yeah, there's 3 or 4 other teams that were also interested that Cardinals wanted his services with. So obviously, like you said, these other teams don't care about him being 32 years old. So
I will touch on that Logan Paul drama at the end of the night because it's not important, but I do have some funny information about that because it is funny.
Perfect. All
All
right,
right.
Brian, you're going to kick us off yet again. Take us through your mock.
Yeah, so this is the mock draft I came up with. I went Francis. I did a trade down. Still with the Chiefs, they still moved up for Ruben Bain, which is entirely possible. I think they also could move up for Caleb Downs because they have absolutely zero safeties right now, to my knowledge, that have any NFL quite experience. Now that could change. And in this trade down, I got pick 29 and took Caleb Banks. I'm a big believer in his. At the Senior Bowl, he definitely killed it. Made me a fan. I think he also was a 5-star prospect going into Florida. Uh, on this trade down again, on the second round, I traded down. I took the just BPA available because Lee Hunter, once again, just get me those trenches and we can figure that out from there. And I'm just really tired of everyone running the ball down our throat. So I just keep drafting them until we actually hit. And then also, I took Mike Washington Jr. just because I think his RAS score obviously jumps out. Jeremiah Love got a lot of talk about the combine. I think Mike Washington Jr. had a better quote unquote combine um, than Jeremiah Love did, in just my opinion. Uh, people can disagree with that. Kendrick Law, I took just a speedy wide receiver because we still don't have that guy to take the top off the defense, which I'm assuming Mike LaFleur is going to want in this offense. Um, Austin Barber was just another tackle just to sort of take, as I believe a lot of sites have him as probably like a guard, more than an actual tackle. Just thought he was an interesting name just to be different. Drew Aller, I have this infatuation with him. I just think that I want a tall, strong, big armed quarterback in today's age, because I still believe you win from the pocket. Always going to win from the pocket. And it's just the complete opposite of what we had the last 7 years. Anthony Lucas, kind of a taller linebacker. They have him listed as edge. I think also he was playing middle linebacker when it came into the actual combine. Or I could be having him kind of confused with somebody else. And then went offensive James Brockmeyer, and then just took a random cornerback. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know who he was, but he is more of I believe he's like in the 6 foot range. So just another taller cornerback. Uh, I know we re-signed Sean Murphy Bunting, but once again, he's making no money. He could be cut. I mean, he's still got to make that 53-man roster, and not to mention just a 7th-round pick. So if he sneaks him onto the practice squad, it's still fine with me. And then one of those trade downs when I went with the Jets, got an extra future 3rd-round pick. Jets have a lot of picks this year that they're going to want to move up and around the board. So that's where I ended out.
Very nice. Overall, I do like this. I want to address real quick that we have apparently found your type: tall, strong, big arm. That's what Brian likes. So anyone out there, hit Brian up. Tall, strong, and big arm. We know what you want. So I mean,
I'll make
looking
a quarterback out of you. I'm just kidding.
Okay. So Francis Malinois, spoiler, will be here a lot tonight. Let's just get ahead of that. But Caleb Banks, if he is somehow still there at 29, and you have this sort of trade down situation, Caleb Banks is one of my favorite players in this draft. I just haven't looked at him very much because he's just like not really in a range that's gettable for the Cardinals, unless you do have some sort of trade down situation, which with Kansas City signing Kenneth Walker today, that dream's dead. To have them move up to 3 to get Jeremiah Love, I think that's dead. New Orleans maybe is like our last bet to move down some to 8, and even then you'd still probably be taking a tackle, right? So Caleb Banks, and he's not going to last to 34. I think we're in agreement there. But I really like him as a player, man.
I do too.
Now, before we go to mine, just I'm gonna give Brian 1 second. 1 second to explain to me why he loves Drew Aller so much. Because I don't see it. And I love you, dude. But I don't see Drew Aller. So I'm going to give you this platform to talk to me, talk to the people. And
It's two
yeah,
against one on that. And I think you know that too.
give us your defense of tall, strong, big arm Drew Aller.
Drew Aller is the 3rd best quarterback. I'd argue he's the 2nd best quarterback in this draft. You can miss me with the Ty Simpson having 10 starts or whatever. Drew Aller was a 5-star prospect. He's got, I believe, almost 40 starts. He has all the traits you want in an actual quarterback. If I'm sitting here to believe that Mike LaFleur is going to be this offensive-minded genius of who we hired, what type of quarterback does he usually like? Tall, bigger quarterback, because we've already seen him try a shorter, smaller quarterback, agile, didn't really work very well. So he has all the traits. He was a 5-star. He's not a nobody. He didn't really have a lot of great weapons around him besides tight ends. Ding, 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 ding. Who do we have like a lot here? We have Trey McBride. We have Elijah Higgins. I'm just trying to fit somebody into the system that actually has traits that I'm taking him on pick 142, which is the 4th round or 5th round. He's gonna newsflash. He's gonna go probably top 100. I'd almost bet it. He's gonna go top 100. Now, will he go to us? Probably not. But as far as system fit, for the Arizona Cardinals, that's the guy I'm hitching my wagon to. That's just, I mean,
Okay. Top 100. We'll remember.
I definitely think you made the strongest possible arguments that you can make. Like you cannot deny the traits. You cannot deny, what is he, 6'4", 6'5", something like that, 6'6". He's big. He's big.
6'5",
He's big.
240, I think, or
6'5",
6'5", 235 or something. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a big boy. Can't teach that. Absolutely agree. You know me, and I've said this. I've been consistent about this for years. Tape over traits, but quarterback would be the kind of the one exception to that. So I do see that with him. I do get that, and like I said, a lot
And
of
his
these guys,
tape, yeah.
a lot of these guys, I think are flyers. So I wouldn't hate it.
Drew Aller, sorry, different Drew. He falls in with like at least 3 other guys that I think if they had come out in the draft last year would have either been first or second round picks. Like Drew Aller, Garrett Nussmeier, and Cade Klubnik probably would have been first, second, or third round picks last year. And they all went back and all had some combination of just sucking for some reason or getting hurt, and that's why they suck. And it's really unfortunate because they lost a ton of money going back. And that brings me to a point of how we talk about right now, and we're all guilty of this, talking about the 2027 quarterback draft class is almost can't miss. All of that same stuff can happen to those guys too. So there's a huge amount of risk right now that we don't have a real quarterback on this team, and we're banking on 2027 because Arch Manning could not continue to develop. He could continue to have those struggles that he's had. This is all projection a year in advance. And Drew Aller, if he hadn't gotten hurt this year and had such a weird off season, like he probably would have been a late first rounder too. Like all of that can happen. So we're really playing with fire when we're trying to project out a year in a quarterback class. But it does seem like the quarterback class next year is just has more options of potentially special players. We'll just have to see how 2026 pans out. So let's go ahead and hit mine real quick. So I also start with Francis Malinois, but I just go ahead and do the safest thing and I stick and pick. I take him at 3, which, yes, is overdrafting him as a player just purely based off talent. It probably is. But I don't really care as much this year. You know, like we need a right tackle. I was listening to a podcast right before we came on here. That's a combination of the NFL Stock Exchange guys, Trevor Sikkema and Connor something, with the bootleg football guys, Brett Coleman and EJ Snyder, are doing like this combo podcast together. And this last episode was about how best player available has actually worked out. And the answer is like almost never. Like it just doesn't work out. We say, best player available all the time. That's just not how football works. Nothing else will work if we don't figure out right tackle. I'm sorry. We saw what happened during the Jonah Williams years. When you don't have an offensive line, you don't have an offense, period. And then it doesn't even matter who is calling plays. It doesn't matter who is behind center. You can have Jacoby Brissett. You can have Patrick Mahomes. Like if you don't have an offensive line, you don't have an offense, a functional offense. So Francis Malinois is, to me, the best tackle in this class. I don't think it's particularly close. And I also shun the talk of Francis Malinois as a guard. That's not who he was in college. He's never been a guard. Taking one day of measurements and declaiming a player's entire future based off of a tape measurer is just a stupid pattern we get in because of the combine. Francis Malinois, as I said last week, Reuben Bain Jr., put on the tape. Just look at what they look like playing football. So enough about him, and we'll probably skip a lot of conversation about him going forward because you're going to see a lot of Francis Malinois tonight. At number 3, he's sort of the consensus pick right now, unless we do something really crazy in free agency over the next few days and weeks. After that, I do go quarterback at 34 with Ty Simpson. Now, in the real world, I don't think he's there. I think he's probably gone to the Jets at like 16 or wherever their second pick is. I do think Ty Simpson will be going in the first round somewhere. But if he isn't, in that world, he drops to 34. I would take him there. He doesn't have all of the physical tools, but he has a more impressive intellectual tool set than a lot of the other quarterbacks in this class. I think he is a coachable player, and I'm not sure that is the case for some of the other guys, particularly Nussmeier. I am not confident he's a coachable quarterback. He has some nice physical tools too. I'm just not sure that you can get him to be an NFL level quarterback. I think Ty Simpson can get there. He's just at the disadvantage of not having played a ton of college ball. So this would be the scenario where he gets to sit for 1, hell, even 2 years. If you want to like really let him develop and sit, it'd be 2 years of pain, and it would be one hell of an argument, I'm sure, between Monty Ossenfort and Michael Bidwell, just putting off potential success for so long. But I think Ty Simpson is the type of player that would need that. And if he has that and goes to the right situation, I think he can be a good player. And then after that, I go Derek Moore, the edge from Michigan. You're just kind of trying to get the best edge still available there. Billy Schrauth at guard. This, again, was before the Sayamalo signing, but Billy Schrauth, I do believe, plays right guard at Notre Dame. So that could work out. He could be competition with John Gaines and Isaiah Adams, who I am not as big of a believer in Isaiah Adams as like Papa Joe is. I know he believes in him and that he'll get there eventually. I'm not super confident about that. So taking someone in the 4th round to either take over that role or to at least be a high-level backup, I'm okay with that. Emmett Johnson in the 5th round is, I believe, a really good running back out of Nebraska. This was after Tyler Algier. I'm still good with taking a running back somewhere in this draft. I don't think that's like out of the question at all, especially with questions about Trey Benson. Like, legit don't know if Trey Benson is on this team next year, considering how much it seems like this staff hates him. So taking his backup or his replacement right now, I am okay with that. And Harold Perkins Jr., I'm going to leave a space for Drew to talk about him because I think he has some strong opinions about him. But he is a linebacker that I think if you give him his very defined role, you let him define or develop within that very defined role and just let him go get after it, he can be a really good player. He's a really good athlete. He's just sort of like lost in the linebacker ether, and he needs to find center. And if our staff could do that for him, I think he could work out really well. And then lastly, before we go back to Harold Perkins, for Drew to give us his wisdom on Max Bredesen from Michigan, like best run blocking tight end in this draft class. I think 7th round, that's really good value. You're probably going to be running a lot of 13 personnel again, like Mike LaFleur did last year in LA. So having him and Tip Ryman and Trey McBride would just be a really good tight end trio, and then throw in Elijah Higgins on passes where you or plays where you actually intend to throw to a tight end. I think that would be fun. It'd be a really good tight end room. So, Drew, tell me about Harold Perkins.
So, here are my thoughts. No, strong thoughts might set people up for the wrong expectation of what's coming here, but you're not wrong either. I do like Perkins. I've liked him since his freshman year. That problem was that was his best year, and he was an edge only that year. And then when LSU moved him to linebacker to more of an off ball, outside of just the injuries, he just looked completely lost at that position. And so what is he at the next level, I think, is the big question. Like, he's too undersized to just be an edge, I think, and he's not really good enough to be an off ball. Like, a lot of people have said Arvell Reese is, your Isaiah Simmons and can't do that, blah, 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 blah. No, this is your Isaiah Simmons. Like, what is this guy? I just don't know. I love his tape as an edge his freshman year. It's really good. But he's just so small. I don't think he can do that at the NFL level. So it's just tough to really find a position for him. But if you trust your linebackers coach and really trust him and think he can really develop him up, he does have traits that you can work with. It's just I'm scared. But in the sixth round, it's not a big risk or anything. So.
All right, Brian, do you have anything to say to this before we go to Drew's?
If we take Ty Simpson,
Don't even.
if we take Ty Simpson, especially if we trade up into the first round for him, I'm going to crash out because it makes absolutely zero sense. You did not want to pay Malik Willis for having limited amounts of starts and throws, but then you're going to pivot and say, oh, hey, Ty Simpson, this is a great idea. It does not track for me at all. Doesn't track for me at all. Because
if you're giving up a 27 first, yeah, I totally agree. But the difference is you're not giving Ty Simpson $45 million guaranteed as the 34th overall pick.
You're wasting a valuable pick in the second round to take a quarter. I mean, basically what you're doing is Monty Austinforth is going to be saying, I am tying someone to me so I can say at the end of the year, well, hey, Ty Simpson could be our guy. I could have got us that actual quarterback. Because if you take him and this team is like, I don't know, like 2-12, Ty Simpson's playing the last few games of the year because that they got to figure out, am I firing the GM or like, what am I doing? It just doesn't make any sense to me, especially when you have other needs and you've now signed 2 quarterbacks now. So it just, to me, makes absolutely no sense because of the whole start thing. But that's just me. And I didn't think, Ty Simpson fell off a cliff at the end of the year.
Okay, Ty Simpson fell off a cliff because Caden Proctor is his left tackle, and he got a bulging disc halfway through the season. He had a blown out back, and he was going out there still playing. He cracked his rib in the bowl game and still kept playing. The first half of the season, he was the best processor in the country.
So why didn't he play like the year before? Who played over him? Jalen Milroe. Did Jalen Milroe play this year at all? I mean, did he play?
Jalen Milroe had over 1,000 yards rushing for them.
Jalen Milroe's a better athlete than Ty Simpson. Like, that's not a question.
And where was he drafted?
Seattle?
In the third round. But we're going to take this guy in the first round and a bad quarterback. It just makes zero sense to me. Like I said, especially if he's there at 34 and, they're going to sell us that, he had a great interview, great whatever. I just don't see it. My one positive besides your first pick, I like Derek Moore a lot. And the more I hear people talk about him and whatnot, I just give me the third round pick. Love it right there. And it fits the Monty mold about taking, last year, Jordan Birch is just give me somebody else in there. Give me some more juice.
Yeah, I agree with Derek Moore. Very much so. All right, Drew. Let's go. Defend yourself.
I was going to say my turn to get lit up. No, at number 1, I went with the great off the wall, pick with Francis Maury. No, I've never seen that one before. But to add, we've harped on him. We've talked about him a lot for 2 weeks now. I won't talk too much on, but one thing I will push back on yours, Kyler, I don't think he's an overdraft. I really don't. There's questions about Reese. I think it's going to take a year or 2 for him to really reach his potential. Bain, I think, is absolutely safe. I don't really care about the arms. I think he's going to be fine. Bailey has questions not just about his character, but his run stopping. Downs has questions about what actual impact does he make, because he's so fundamentally sound that there's oftentimes in zone coverage that he's left out guarding nobody because he just won't break assignment and go make a play on the ball, which is what I want from a safety I'm drafting in the top 10. Who else? Who else is just an absolute safe pick? Oh, how about the guy who's not allowed only allowed 2 sacks in 2 years and none against 4 straight playoff teams? I'm sorry, but that's not an overdraft to me. So that's just my pushback. And that's not necessarily on you, Kyler. I think that's more so on the other people who say that. But so I love Maui Noah. TJ Parker, I think, is probably going round 1. This was just one of those, I don't know, the sliders I set up on it or something had him falling here. But if he did, I think, it's a good value for an edge. Kamari Ramsey, safeties from USC have just generally been awesome. And the dog is way more entertaining than my mock. So I'm not blaming anybody for ignoring what I'm saying right now.
This is Buddy. This is my dog.
Hi, buddy.
Hi, buddy.
Hi, buddy. All right,
Tell us
go.
if you like Ty Simpson, buddy. I'm just kidding. Hey, buddy.
What
All
do you
right.
think of Ty Simpson, buddy?
You know, he thinks he's a pretty good pick at 34.
I feel like there's some pushing of your own agenda on that, but all right. I don't even. Oh, where was I? Bryce Boddicker. All right, he's probably a bit of an overdraft there at 4. Probably more of a need. He's probably more of a fifth, sixth rounder. But I like what I saw on tape on him a lot. He's a smart player. He's gonna stick his nose in there every play. Sky Gill Howard, I think, is getting kind of overlooked. He's another defensive tackle that has a little bit of pass rush juice that could end up falling. And if you could get him in round 5, I'd be super happy. Another one with Armaj Reed Adams. He I know we got Sam Olive, but like I said, he is 32. He's on a 3-year contract, not a 5-year contract. Like, you will eventually need to replace him, and I think Reed Davis is the perfect type of kind of late round pick that you can have him sit for a year and then plug and play start in his second year. He improved so much from 24 to 25. I like his pedigree too. His mom got a basketball scholarship from A&M, so he's got that kind of athletic pedigree. And if you look at his movement skills on tape and everything, he moves really, really well. He didn't have a great 3-cone, which was kind of surprising because I thought he moved better on tape than what he showed at the combine. So again, I don't really care about the underwear Olympics. I care more about what I see on tape. So I really like him. And then I've talked about my flyer creative player for enough. So everyone knows about him now.
Yeah, I said in the group chat earlier, if Athen Kallikmanis has one lover in this world, it is true.
And I think that's more than a saying, because I think there's no one besides me.
But in the 7th round, I'm not going to flame you as much as I will go after Brian for Drew Aller. Just saying.
I mean, in Brian's defense, though, I will say, if you rank them similarly, he did get Valor in the 4th, where you got yours in the 2nd. So I can see a value from that standpoint for his defense. But I'm also in the same
Fair enough.
as you. So I'm trying to play devil's advocate.
So I mean, I like this overall. Safety as high as 3rd round will probably surprise some people, but it doesn't upset me that much. I think safety is very much in play in this draft somewhere. Jalen Thompson signed with Dallas Cowboys today, so that was a free agent of ours that we didn't re-sign. 3 years, $36 million, I believe, which great for him. That was the exact same contract that he had signed with us in 2022. He's a good player, and wish him the best. Like, he's a really good guy. Everyone seems to love him, so we'll miss him, and that means that free safety now is Rabbit. It's Dadrian Taylor Demerson's show this year, and he had a lot of good play. He forced himself onto the field last year, even before some injuries. He was forcing himself into like these weird 3 safety sets. There's a lot of potential there with him. He just is still really rough sometimes, like really rough sometimes.
Here's a real quick thought for you. Just question, throwing it out there, because it just came to me right now with thinking about restructuring Sean Murphy Bunting and bringing him back kind of surprisingly. Starr coming back, blah, blah, blah. Any chance that Garrett Williams kind of plays that 3rd safety role in those 3 safety sets if we keep running those?
I think he's interchangeable there, just with his skill set. It depends on what you're asking that 3rd safety to do, like what part of the field they're supposed to be taking over. And the Sean Murphy Bunting thing, I mean, I tweeted about it, upset, and that was just an emotional reaction because I don't know. Like, you remember the bad things about players and tend to forget some of the good things that they bring to the team. And with Garrett Williams losing some part of the early season with his ACL, was it, or was it a different injury this time?
Achilles, isn't it?
Yeah.
He will miss some time, and Sean Murphy Bunting can be thrown in the slot. So, like, I get the logic of bringing him back. We still haven't brought back Starling Thomas, which I hope we do. Just as the outside guy, like, he has the better a straight line speed than Sean Murphy Bunting, in case we need to rotate him out with like Denzel Burke and Max Melton and Will Johnson. But Sean Murphy Bunting as the Band-Aid in the slot until Garrett Williams comes back. Like, I get it. And it depend. I don't know what the exact numbers are on him, but it was a restructured deal, right? So it's probably close to vet minimum. I can't be too upset about it anymore. Anyway, we're kind of getting off topic. Let's go ahead and hit our next draft, our first fan submitted one from Breadstick Daddy. Okay, what a name. We start here with a trade with Kansas City, which was real common mock thing until they got Kenneth Walker, Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker today, because they were apparently in love with Jeremiah Love, but that dream is dead, unfortunately. But in this mock, we had trading down to 9 and getting 29 as well with Kansas City, and we got Francis Malinois at 9, Ty Simpson at 29, edge R. Mason Thomas from Oklahoma at 34, Grayson Holton, the interior defensive line. So we're just taking Oklahoma's entire defensive line here. Why not? And then Traden Stukes from Arizona, yuck, in round 4. And no, Sun Devil for life. And Bo Stevens, guard, and from Iowa in round 5. I'll be honest, I don't know anything about these players because they're not often at draftable points for me. So I know R. Mason Thomas from Oklahoma, good player. Not sure where he actually falls in hyped or underhyped, but 34th is like almost a first round pick. So I'm not sure if he deserves that. Do either of you guys know more about him than I do?
I like R. Mason Thomas, and I know a lot of people think that R. Mason Thomas is who people think Akeem Mazador is, and he's younger. So, yeah, he's good. He was no joke there at Oklahoma. He's got some good get off, got some good juice. I absolutely like him. He's in that tier, like you said, with Malachi Lawrence, of kind of where that second tier starts. Just kind of depends on your flavor. He's not doesn't have quite the frame, I think, that Malachi does, but it's still NFL worthy.
Okay, nice. Brian, do either of you know anything about Traden Stukes? Okay, Drew, tell me, because I refuse to watch Arizona football. It disgusts me. It makes me throw up in my mouth. Forks up. But Drew, what do you have to tell me about Stukes?
Since I'm college agnostic, I'm allowed to like both Arizona teams, and
You are.
So the tweet that I put this out looking 4 days ago was these were just, it was like one of those threads where everyone just retweets everyone and they're adding my guys to the list. And I was like, so far my guys are Ethan Kaliakmanis, Brennan Thompson, Roman Hemby, Aaron Anderson, and Traden Stukes. I really like him.
Oh,
Yeah, he's just a defensive back. I don't care if you pull him in the slot. I don't care if you put him at safety. He can do it all. He's a ball hawk. He's constantly finding himself around the play. I love him. I think in the it was the 4th round because the trade's good. But in the 4th round, it's great. I think he could go anywhere. He could wind up going anywhere from the 4th to the 6th, and I'd be happy anywhere in there. I think he's a really good player.
okay. I did look him up on the mock big board on PFF, and I like him more. But he's just a disgusting wildcat, and I'm not sure if I can do that. But he did have a 90.4 coverage grade last year. He is 6'2", 200, like an amazing frame for an outside corner. I will say that. But he played like almost all in the slot. What's up with that? 6'2" in the slot. That's fun.
Slot guy.
Allowed 0 touchdowns, had 4 interceptions, and a 34.4 passer rating allowed.
Well, yeah, when you're 6'2" and you're covering a bunch of guys that are like 5'10" and whatnot, you better not be giving up much.
Fair. Yeah. An 83.2 man coverage grade and an 89.5 zone coverage grade.
He's got really good. He's got decent. He's got really good speed. He's got really good hip flexibility. Like he can flip his hips really, really quickly, and that's a key for any cornerback position, but especially when you're playing in the slot.
Okay, I'll try to get past my hatred on this one, and I'll put on the tape for Stoops. Any thoughts before we go on to the next one, Brian?
Yeah, I just kind of want to say that I still think it's a possibility to trade with the Chiefs. I still think that they could trade up for Bain. They still could trade up for the safety out of. I mean, they could still do it. Will you get that extra third round pick? Maybe not. Maybe you just get like some like token value, like. But love Francis. I just once again Ty Simpson. I just can't. And I'll die on that hill. If he's good, I'll come back on and say I was wrong. But I just don't see it.
Drew Aller versus Ty Simpson is the ultimate tape versus traits argument. It's going to be fun to watch. It will be fun to watch.
Yes, just putting their two careers against each other over the next few years will be a great case study in that for sure. All right, let's go ahead and hit the next one because we don't have Francis Malinois in this one from Mono 187, but we have someone who was very popular in last week's mock drafts, Ruben Bain Jr., someone I still wouldn't be upset with. He's an incredible player. Hitting tackle in round 2 with Max Ahiniakor. Sorry, I have never been able to pronounce it right. I will work on that. I think it's very important to learn how to respectfully say people's names. But the tackle from Arizona State did not. Ihanichor. Okay, thank you. Now, has not played a ton of football, like didn't grow up playing it, but has a crazy frame, has all the physical tools, and had a really, 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 really good outing at Senior Bowl. So he has been flying up draft boards. Like you were able to get him in the 3rd round about a month ago, and he is a 2nd and late 1st rounder now. So he is someone to watch. At round 3, got Darrell Jackson Jr., interior defensive lineman from Florida State. Round 4, you got Ted Hurst out of Georgia State. Round 5, Katron Allen from Penn State, running back. Round 6, Cole Wisnowski from Texas Tech, safety. And round 7, you got Eric Gentry, linebacker from USC. So I'll give my one standout player. We can all give a standout player. And it will be Cole Wisnowski. Talked weirdly a lot about safeties in our mock draft so far, but he and Bishop, I'm blanking on the last name right now, from USC, are two kind of later round safeties that I like quite a bit. And round 5, round 6 is roughly where I see safety being a pretty viable option there. And it would weirdly be our 2nd Texas Tech safety. He'd be joining Dadrian Taylor Demerson, who also came out of Texas Tech. I'm not sure if their time there overlapped with each other, but it would be weird to have 2 Texas Tech safeties on the team. Brian, let's start with you. Anyone stand out here?
Yeah, I'll just first off, we didn't really touch on Ruben Bain. I go back and forth on him all the time. One of those guys that just trusts the tape. Not the short arm thing doesn't really bother me. The more I get into it, I'd wish his arms were actually longer, but he just plays with such good leverage that I'm just getting swayed on it. If they want to take him is fine. Now, if I was the GM, I probably wouldn't, but I would be able to live with it, and I understand why. Katron Allen isn't a guy that I like, and you get him in the 5th round right there, and you have that opportunity to have a running back of the future with James Conner only going to be here probably for one more year. If they roll with him to the 53-man roster, or with him being on a 1-year deal, who knows? But yeah, I'll just stick with him because I think that it makes sense and he would fit exactly what they're looking for here.
Drew.
Out of these, I'll be honest, none of these are players that I absolutely love. So I'll go with Ted Hurst because I know he's been getting not a lot more love lately. I know there are a lot of people they're really high on him. I do have my preferences, but he's getting attention from a lot of people that I respect. So I'm going to be paying a little bit more attention to him. Just see what I'm missing there on that one, because I know he was at the. Is either the Shrine Bowl or the Senior Bowl. He was at one of those, and yeah, he did really well and showed out. So it's got my attention more. I'll be paying a little bit more attention and seeing what I'm missing on with him.
Nice. And to Brian about Katron Allen, I think he'd be a really great player there. Like a 1,300-yard season, and I think like 15 touchdowns last year. Had a great year at Penn State. The only knock on him, I would say, is specifically with LaFleur's like wide zone stuff. He just ran a ton of gap at Penn State. Like it was almost all inside gap stuff. So it'd just be a slightly different usage of him. But I mean, he's a really good player. I'm sure he could figure that out.
I like both the Penn State running backs. I think it just depends on what do you want, the James Conner replacement in Katron Allen, or do you want more of the kind of like Trey Benson replacement in Nick Singleton? And since you just signed Tyler Algier, you're probably leaning more towards the Katron Allen type now because how long does JC have? So
right, and Katron Allen's like 5'11", almost 220. Like he's very kind of James Conner coded. All right, let's go on to the next one from Red Sea here. So slightly different. We also have a trade back, this time with the Raiders. Hold up. Okay, yeah, with the Raiders, who are moving up to 3, and then we're also giving a future 4th-round pick. They're giving us pick 14, 36 in the second round, a first-rounder next year, and a third-rounder next year. So this would be big. I'm not sure who they would be going to 3 to get. Raiders have been very active in free agency today. If you guys haven't caught that, they're paying everyone, doing their absolute best to set up a good, solid team for Fernando Mendoza. Like they're doing a good, responsible thing. So good for them. But regardless of the hypotheticals, the players that we have at 14, Spencer Fano, tackle. 34, Lee Hunter, interior defensive lineman, opposite Skylar Gill-Howard with Lee Hunter. R. Mason Thomas again, Mike Washington Jr. again, Brian Parker the second, another tackle out of Duke in the 4th round, Tarian York, linebacker in the 5th round out of Texas A&M, Harold Perkins Jr. again in the 6th, and then a fullback in the 7th, which is freaky, and I like it. Eli Heidenreich out of Navy, which if you're going to get a fullback, get him from a service academy. So like I like that. That's a fun pick. But I think for this one, let's just take a time to compare Spencer Fano and Francis Mauigoa. They're widely considered the top 2 tackles in this year's draft. We've been very clear in our preferences because I don't think any of us have ever taken Spencer Fano at 3. And if Drew, you kind of corrected me some, and I take the correction well, that Francis Mauigoa is not really an overdraft at 3. I agree with you. I do agree with you. I think he's an immensely talented player. Spencer Fano at 3 would hurt me. That one would be tough to abide. But at 14, what are some of your general thoughts about Fano in comparison with Mauigoa, who is kind of our guy right now? Let's go ahead and start with you, Brian.
Some comparisons are, well, first off, I want to say I completely agree. If they take him at 3,
oh my god,
I would probably cry here on stream, and I don't want to do that because I'll probably have to cry at a different pick. So I want to cry at every single one of them. Here's what I'll give him. He does move very well for his size, but that is kind of why, and Drew kind of had me started on this, that he's more of a guard to me. And I don't think I'd want to start him at tackle and then move him to guard. I'd probably just want to have him there at guard to begin with. Now, granted, this draft was submitted before we knew that we were signing an actual guard. So I mean, if you got him at 14 and this is the trade compensation you actually got back, I'm fine with it. Now, I just don't see someone trading a 2027 first round pick at all. So it just seems illogical to me. But to round it up real quick, I just at 14, sign me up, I guess. At anywhere else like in the top 10, humongous red flag, and I just really hope that means that you sign Braden Smith in free agency.
Yeah, I agree. Personally, I'm not. I wouldn't take him in the top 10 just because I do. Even though even though I think interior offensive line can be undervalued, I feel more comfortable if I'm taking an interior offensive line that high. I generally want to take one who's played interior offensive line, like a David DeCastro, a Tyler Booker, or, something like that. When it comes to Fano, like I've heard the same thing you've heard, Kyler, where some people think he's a guard, and I'm like, based off what his 34.25 inch arms, which is the threshold for what you want for a tackle, but people aren't saying that about Fano at 32 and 1/8 inch arms. Like that's a guard, like arms. And to me, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again, it's not just about arm length because there are short arm tackles in the league that do well. It's about your base. And his base, it moves well. He's got some good hip flexibility, and I like it, but it's just not solid enough to play tackle in the NFL. I just don't think. I think he'll be a really, really good guard. And to play devil's advocate, Tennessee got away with it in drafting. Oh my God, why am I forgetting his name now?
Peter Skoronsky.
Yes, thank you. Skoronsky at 2nd overall, who was a tackle his whole career and intended on only playing him at guard. But I just don't want to do it. I think there are better routes. And now that we've got Seumalo, I think there are better options. If you're gonna go tackle and you're gonna do it at 3, you get Maui. If you want to trade back, I would probably go Blake Miller, who's the solidified right tackle, has played right tackle his whole career. Or if you can get Monroe Freeling and think he can move from left tackle to right tackle. Those would be my preferences.
Yeah. And speaking of Francis Mauigoa and Isaac Seumalo, I just saw a tweet from Chad Forbes that I liked quite a bit. Isaac Seumalo is the exact type of offensive lineman you would sign if you plan on drafting Francis Mauigoa. And I agree with that. And also, it's getting closer to my dream of an entire starting offensive line of just Polynesian men, just large like Samoans, which is my dream offensive line. So we would be 2 out of 5 if we can do it. So just 3 more left. And I don't know why it sends balloons when I do this. It's a Mac. Before we go on to the next one, we were graced by the presence of Papa himself. This is Papa, a sociology professor. Check out his other sociology channel. Hello, Papa. It's very nice to have you in here. And we have a comment here from Lorenzo. Breaking news. Monty signing his own walking papers. The let Monty cook chant. He's only cooking himself. Yeah, he saved himself today with Seumalo. To me, that's a big time signing.
I just have a hard time believing that Monty is not on board with it. Or like Michael Bidwell went into this offseason saying, Monty, you are coaching, or you are going for your job right now. And Monty being like, nah, I'm going to pass on Malik Willis. I don't want to outbid people. No, I'm going to pass on that. I'm going to do these short-term deals and whatnot and set myself up for next year. And then him saying that, it's just going to be like a 1 year. I just have a hard time believing that, because just imagine, when they hired Michael Flohr or whatnot, there had to be a plan in place. And I just find it hard to believe you're going to go ahead and fire Monty Austin for it. Unless, yes, if you have a top 3 pick next year, unless like something really bad happens or they get bit by injuries or something like that, I just have a hard time then saying you're going to bring in a new GM and then fire and make that GM take Michael Flohr. I just have a hard time believing it, because it just makes no sense.
Yeah, I think if Monty was only given 1 year, you would have seen him go out and outbid Miami, because they could have easily. Yeah, Miami had no money to play with. They had like $3 million in cap space and somehow made it work. So, all the reports that came out a little bit afterwards said we checked in on him, we talked about it, and the price was just too high. So, if the price is too high, then he's got to have more than 1 year. And I think that's the right thing to do because it's not. I don't think it's really fair to look at this QB situation and both the draft and free agency classes and say, oh yeah, we have to win this year and you have to get it done because there's no real pathway to do that. So I'm with you. I don't think he only has 1 year.
And Kyler's muted, but he's telling us right now that Ty Simpson, he's having second thoughts.
See, it's I thought I was going to be the one having all the technical issues today, but nope. Kyler's mic decided it wanted to give him a hard time this week too. But do you know anything about Lee Hunter from Texas Tech? That's another name that I do like there that I see on Red Sea's draft.
Oh, I absolutely love Lee Hunter. I know he's probably more of a true nose tackle for like most people, but I mean, if you watch any of the college football playoffs, you can definitely see he stands out. And I believe in the Senior Bowl, also I think it was him. He just jumped off the page, and he didn't even complete the whole Senior Bowl. He was like, "Oh, I'm going to go out here and dominate, and then I'm out." Yeah.
And that happens a lot with a lot of these guys once they get through the weeks of practice. The game doesn't matter. Nobody cares about the game. And if they did, nobody would be talking about Taylon Green because he was the absolute worst player of Senior Bowl week when it came to the actual game. He was so bad in that game.
Don't talk about my boy Taylon Green. Don't talk about my 7th round darling Taylon Green.
I told you, as an Elijah Higgins replacement, I love him.
So Papa in here saying, I think Monty lasts as long as LaFleur. People saying he's on the hot seat in 2026 are speaking from emotions. Yes, that press conference that they had where Michael Bidwell said the thing about like we want to win right now, that was also said in the heat of the moment, like 2 hours after firing Jonathan Gannon. Reality had to have set in at some point in a conversation with Monty. Probably Monty giving him a really realistic overview of what this free agent class looks like, what this draft looks like, and saying, brother, we don't have a quarterback next year. We're not going to have a quarterback next year. We cannot win next year. It's not going to happen. And regardless of if you win like just enough or you win 8 games or whatever, you're not winning the Super Bowl in 2026. Like it's not in the cards remotely. So please God, give me some time to actually try and fix this thing. And Thunder here is saying I think Monty gets 5 years minimum. So that would give him 2 years with Mike LaFleur. And I think that's probably pretty realistic too. And Steve Keim had a decade long leash. So I think Monty has a couple years to get this going, and I think he did talk some realism into Michael Bidwell that 2026 just isn't going to happen, dog. Like, sorry, I don't know what you expect us to do.
Anyone that gets WWE will get this reference. But when Bidwell said we have to win next year, Monty pulled him aside and said, that doesn't work for me, brother.
I guarantee something like that happened behind the scenes because we haven't heard any more of that rhetoric out of the front office. And signing Gardner Minshew today is the clearest sign possible to me that we do not plan on winning a ton of games in 2026. Like, we're not going into this delusional that like 2026 is a rebuild year. Sorry, it is what it is. We got to find a quarterback, and this is not going to be the year.
It's going to be lined up with the practice facility opening. That wants to be Michael Bidwell's crowning moment. If they're going to, Monty's going to get until that facility opens. And basically, it's going to come down to this draft and next year. And I wouldn't be surprised if he gets like a ghost extension here of like 2 or 3 years. It's just Michael Bidwell's money. It's not anything like against the cap. And it shows competency and it shows alignment. So I was hearing rumblings of that happening even before everyone wanted to just freak out and whatnot. And if it does happen, don't freak out because once again, it is just Michael Bidwell's money. That's all it is. If he wants to give him $5 million a year for the next 3 years, it's fine. So,
And I think it's fair to give him until the facilities, because quite frankly, I think without Monty, those facilities don't even exist. So you can say what you will about him as a GM, but he has had so much impact on the back end that should not be overlooked, and he should be given credit for that.
Yeah.
Because without him, Michael Bidwill is still 100% idiot as opposed to only 97% idiot. So
Right. So we've been a little bit all over the place tonight because of the excitement of free agency and talking about the futures of this emotionally draining team. We have two more mocks. We'll get through them. We'll get you guys out. We're gonna hit an hour and a half tonight. Sorry. It's the first day of free agency. I don't think there was a world in which we were getting under an hour. At least not with the three of us. So here's our second to last one from Gazer Nick. We've got some more trade downs. A short one down to 6 with Cleveland, and then another one down to 9 with Kansas City. We get Spencer Fano again at 9, which is the beginning of where I might be okay with taking him. 9, 10, 11. If Francis Malinois is on the board, Spencer Fano should never be the pick here, but let's say he's gone, which probably is. Spencer Fano at 24, Keldrick Falk from Auburn. At 34, Lee Hunter again from Texas Tech. Anthony Hill, linebacker in the third round from Texas. Brian will be happy here in the fourth round with Drew Aller, his tall, strong, big arm man. Bud Clark, safety in the fifth round from TCU. Jamari Taylor, running back, I actually like quite a lot. Had the most zone attempts in college football last year. Perfect scheme fit for LaFleur out of Virginia in the sixth round. And then my other guy, Max Bredesen, the tight end from Michigan. Let's focus in on Keldrick Falk because that's not someone who we've got to talk that much about. Brian, do you have something?
yeah, I was. That's actually who I was gonna point out too.
Sure.
He really weird with this guy. He started out like preseason wise or midseason, like he was being mocked like in the top 10 or
Yeah.
top 5, and I was one of those suckers too. Like when we were losing, I was like, oh, let's get this athletic freak or whatnot. I've actually seen because watching a lot of draft stuff, there's a lot of talk of him actually probably moving inside because he's more of a run defender and he has, I mean, almost zero like bend, like from what I can see. Like
He's big. He's like 6'6", 285, so he could be inferior. He's a big guy.
yeah, but right there, taking him 24, it's probably a little too high for me because taking like another tweener. I even saw someone compare him to like nearly Darius Robinson, which, I mean, he's my guy, but I can't do that again. I'm sorry. At least Darius had like some tape doing that. This guy you'd be moving him to a whole different position. Now it's intriguing if we had a great defensive line coach, which we're on our third defensive line coach in 3 years. So I'm scared taking this upside of a guy. But it's intriguing. It just wouldn't be something I would do. I don't want a project at 24 when you are already trading down. So in my opinion, you're going project at Fano, project at Falk, and I mean, I love the Aller pick. But I can't start the draft with two projects and try to sell it to the Cardinal fan base as a great idea. So that's my pushback.
I feel like people's opinions on Keldrick Falk will, like, you could figure out a lot about what they think about Keldrick Falk, about what they thought about Michael Williams last year out of Georgia. Like, they're very, very similar players. Like, big bodies, big frames, good run stoppers, don't do much as pass rushers.
Yeah, if you're looking for an edge rusher to give you juice opposite Josh Sweat and actually pressure quarterbacks, Falk's just not your guy. He's got that 6'6", 285 frame. I pulled up his stuff. Last season, he had an 85.5 run defense grade, PFF, which is exactly the type of player he is. He has a run stop rate of 8.6%, which is elite. It's very good. But a pass rush win rate of 11.6. He had 2 sacks last year. Like, he's just not a high production edge guy. He is not David Bailey, who's like going to get you sacked.
Nobody who didn't like Shamar Stewart last year is allowed to like Keldrick Falk this year.
Yeah, that's actually a decent comp. Like I get that. He just doesn't have a lot of college production. He had 9 sacks in 2024, so he regressed quite a bit in his last year at Auburn. Like he's more of a name than a player to me. Sometimes players just become names, whether it's like the school that they went to or they just have very certain claims to fame. I'm not really sure what it is for Keldrick Falk. He is more of a name than he is a player to me.
Dion Jordan.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Would be an Oregon player you would bring up.
Of course.
No, a name, a guy is just a name. Like super awesome traits, did absolutely nothing with him.
He was a top 5 pick for the Dolphins, right?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on to our last one of the night from Simon G, who I haven't seen in the chat tonight, but I hope you're in there. Another Spencer Fano. So we've really split first round between Francis Mano and Spencer Fano. And this one, I'll just run through the players first because I don't know how to process this one. Okay. No offense, Simon. Love you. Round 1, pick 3, Spencer Fano tackle. Round 2, 34, another Utah tackle, Caleb Lomu. Okay. Round 3, Josiah Trotter, linebacker from Missouri. Round 4, Cyrus Allen, wide receiver, Cincinnati. Good player. Round 5, 141, quarterback from Clemson, Cade Klubnik. Would have been a great pick last year. Round 6, 182, running back Jamari Taylor. Love, perfect. Best pick on here, in my opinion. And then round 7, 217, tight end Carson Ryan from BYU. Let me start, because let me put the hood on. What is this, Simon? Like, this is a troll mock, right? It is. I'm not trying. I love you. I do. I love you. Carson Ryan, tight end in the 7th round. He's not even a good run blocker. I think he's in like the 30s or something. What are we doing there? That's wild. Cade Klubnik, he's in the class of the developmental quarterbacks that take your pick, take your favorite one. Brian's is Drew Aller. Yours can be Cade Klubnik, whatever. Like, he's a guy that you take in the 5th round, and maybe he develops into something. Okay, we do have some explanation in here. Raphael, he must like Utah. Yeah.
This is where I was going to go. 3 Utah players.
Right.
He was on a mission of some sorts.
Okay, and Papa does explain when Simon submitted this, he included a comment bringing the spice. Okay, fair enough. So a little bit of a troll mock. So let's talk about Caleb Lomu, actually, because as a potential 2nd round tackle, take away Spencer Fano. Let's ignore it at 3. I don't think we even need to address that. We've already talked about Spencer Fano at 3, but Caleb Lomu at 34. Let's say we take like Reuben Bain Jr. at 3 or something, or some defensive player. Now that I'm on board with that. Caleb Lomu is more of a prototypical tackle than Fano is, in my opinion. Not as high level of a talent, but more of a prototypical, like, should be a decent tackle in the league type of thing. So I wouldn't be mad at that at all. Do you guys have thoughts on Caleb Lomu?
Utah tried Caleb Lomu at right tackle. It didn't work too well.
Now that's a good point. He is a left tackle, left
tackle. So like if you're bringing Spencer back into this, the only way this setup actually works is you move Fano to guard, then you move Paris over to right tackle, and you play Caleb at left tackle. And are you really wanting to move a 1st round pick tackle to right tackle for a 2nd round tackle? Probably not. So probably doesn't work, but I would love Lomu if he could flip. I've seen it. I wasn't that impressed. They were both of them were much. They both went to the other side, and went, and then went back, and they were much better in their natural positions. So
There's a reason why I had this argument with people at work, which I'm pretty sure they're going to see this and blow up my phone again. But there's a reason why there's not musical chairs of, hey, on quarter one, Paris Johnson's going to play left tackle, and then we're going to switch over to right tackle, and then we're just going to switch over. It is night and day difference about how you punch, how you jump, and how you move around, and moving people around is not a good idea. It doesn't work, and it's not the same as like playing defensive end and you move from one spot to another because it's not the same thing. So yes, he is a left tackle. Now, if this was a different situation, you give me a different tackle that I think could move over, you might be cooking with some gas here. But you wanted to bring the spice, so I think you brought like the worst expired spice, like the dollar store cayenne pepper in your socks to just warm you up or something. And Kyler, you're also giving me vibes of like Darth Sidious. And instead of can I learn this power? Can I forget this draft? Can I unlearn this? No,
these are
not
not the prospects you're looking for.
yes, not on Mock Draft Monday.
These are not the prospects.
The one thing, real quick, getting back to the tackle moving thing. I generally agree with you. There are some guys that can do it, and they're just fine. Like Paris, he flipped from right to left, could go left to right, whatever. He's fine. It's a mental thing. Some guys have it, and some guys don't. Like DJ Humphries, when we first drafted him, he was a left tackle. We tried playing him at right because we had Valdir. It didn't work. They flipped him. Valdir played okay on the right, and then Humphries was much better on the left. So it's like when I see a guy that can't flip, I feel like they have a ceiling.
But you wouldn't move Paris to right tackle and draft him.
No.
Okay.
No, I'm just saying he can. I'm not saying I would. I'm saying he can and not lose anything. Some guys can, some guys can't. It's a weird thing. It's one of those mental things that I think you can't really explain. Just some got it and some don't.
Yeah, that is a very good point with Lomu. Weird draft, Simon. That's all I can say for you. Anything else on any of the other players before we wrap this up tonight?
I feel like the same thing with Cade Klubnik as Aller and Nussmeier. They've all got things I've liked, but if I put on tape from their first year in college and their last year in college, you probably couldn't tell me the difference. And that's my biggest issue with kind of all of these guys in that middle round. Is just none of them have really progressed that much year over year, and that's something I look for when I'm evaluating quarterbacks. I want to see that improvement because things aren't always going to go right. You're going to have those down moments, especially when you're younger and coming in. It's how do you grow and develop from that. And Aller, I will say, out of all of them, I think started showing the most last year in the playoff run, and then he ran into a brick wall in Notre Dame, and then the Franklin stuff this year and everything. So of everything, I think he's shown the most growth in that area of all of them.
Yeah, Cade Klubnik too short. I don't like the arm strength. You had a national championship type roster that everyone thought you were going to do, and you barely didn't even make the college playoffs. I think they had like 7 wins. They're just bad all around. Now you could probably blame other things too, but I just can't. It doesn't fit the system that I think they want to run.
I agree.
Now, before we get out of here, Calvin does have one final point. He says, I don't understand why fans are upset getting the Snickers Award winner as a backup. We didn't have the cap space for an unproven free agent QB. Lean on Brissett, then draft a QB in 27. Yeah, that's the plan now. It's pretty clear. If Brissett's being declared the starter right now, and the only other guy you bring in is Gardner Minshew, the writing's on the wall. 26 is a year where we at least get to like not have expectations, which I think is kind of peaceful. At least it removes some of the stress of being a fan of this team. They're not going to be high win expectations this year. We're not making the playoffs. Like we know that before the first game's ever played. So now we just get to look now at the players that we draft. It's actually making the draft process more fun for me because we're getting to look at these players and we'll get to evaluate them without a ton of pressure throughout 26. Just hoping, trying to see what we will be getting in 27. And then the draft process for 27 should be a ton of fun because we'll probably end up with a great pick again. We'll be looking at quarterbacks, which, I mean, it's just always more fun when you're doing the draft, just is. So, I'm kind of glad to get the pressure taken off of us because this season going into it, with high expectations, and then what happened broke me. Like, I hated this team. I hated the state of Arizona. Don't even live there or never lived there. Not even from Arizona. Hated the entire geography. I hated the front office. I hated every single coach on the staff. I started hating some of the players. I hated the game of football for a minute.
He actually started liking U of A for a sec.
Almost. That's how, like, I was having a psychotic break. I was full in psychosis. That's what was going on. And now, no expectations, man. It's a sad way to live our lives. It is sad to say that it's a good thing to have no expectations, but, it is what it is.
I
So Bane has told us we can die now.
Yeah.
I will just say to everybody saying that we're gonna suck this year or this is gonna be a doom and gloom type whatever. Just remember this moment. Don't let them then resell you in a couple weeks after the draft or a couple months and hey, maybe this team can do something or whatnot. Now let's just keep that same energy about it because I'm not as like this doom and gloom are gonna win 4 games type. I think that's more gonna be we'll wait and see what the final product is because you don't know what's going to happen like in the NFL. Teams flip every year. Those 1-score games that we lost, if you flip those and you give, I'm a firm believer, if you give Jacoby a fighting chance, we'll just see what happens. I'm just not going to declare the season over here on the second week of March. It just makes zero sense to me. So
I will. I declare the season over right now. There are exactly two possibilities. We went. Oh my god! Sorry about the balloon.
Season's over. There's the balloons. Pop your bubble.
We either win 2 or 3 games and we have a top 5 pick again, or worst case scenario, we win 8 games and have a terrible pick in another draft where we need a quarterback. That's it. There's not a world in which we win 10 plus games and make the playoffs. Not in our division. Not with the way this team is built right now. I mean, I guess you can't say nothing's impossible in the NFL, and maybe Mike LaFleur is a true genius and whatever. But I mean, come on. That's an infinitesimally small chance. The worst case is winning like 7 to 9 games next year. Either be good enough to make the playoffs, which we are not, we don't have a quarterback, or win 2 games and have a really high pick. Like, that's the solution for this year.
Did you think the Seattle Seahawks were going to win last year?
I did, and I said it in our group chat, and I have receipts for that.
Yeah, Drew did.
But we laughed at like the whole quarterback thing and whatnot. Did you have the Patriots flipping around? I'm just saying, like, for just writing people off.
I love Drake May.
Matthew Stafford has a back injury that could go off at any second. I hope it doesn't happen to him.
You have been writing Matthew Stafford off for the last 3 years until I see it.
I had the same back injury. Like
he had the same back injury last year, and it didn't matter.
But you're a year older. Eventually, Father Time is undefeated. He is undefeated. Eventually, that will catch up to you.
You're right. One of these years, you will get it right. Just like one of these years, LeBron James will retire.
Matt Stafford is going to be 45 like Tom Brady, and it will finally happen, and Brian will say, I told you so.
And then I hope Philip Rivers comes and plays him when he's 61. It's just fine. But still, but I'm just not this doom and gloom like everyone else is. It makes zero sense to operate that way when we know the NFL is it's a league about parity, and it always has been about parity.
Yeah, but you have to get it right. That's the problem.
But we're not even there yet. We're not even to the end. We're like, this is day 1 of the league year tampering period, and we're writing people off for it. It just makes zero sense to me. Now, are you probably right? Probably, yes. But to declare it right now is asinine.
I will be the in between the two. I do think I have written off 2026. I'm also not doom and gloom about it because I'm 37 years old.
I'm happy about it.
I can count on one hand the number of good seasons we've actually had. So what's one more year if that's what it takes to get the right quarterback? People keep saying, "Oh, well, if losing is the right strategy, then we have a million Super Bowls." No, the problem is we unintentionally suck, and like Kyler said, you wind up in the middle, which
Ugh.
is arguably worse than just being bad in this league the way it's set up with the draft. The one time we actually said, you know what, we're just going to commit to sucking, we got the number one overall pick. Now, we didn't get picked right. You've got to get it right after that, but
You've had number one picks that have not worked. You could argue Jaden Daniels was probably the best pick of what was the number 3 pick. Caleb looks good right now, but let's just see. Let's just see what happens. Let's just see. Once these guys get paid, we'll see.
Yeah, but that's the point. Is you've got to win on a rookie deal now these days. So you've got to get it right at the court. Like I said, you have to get it right. But the best way to get it right is to give yourself the number one pick. Because guess what? Say Arch Manning is the number one guy and you don't like him, then you can Eli it and flip him for $1 million.
When's the last time the number one pick won the Super Bowl?
You put me on the spot there. We could go through the list, but if you want to talk about the list of number one picks who won the Super Bowl versus the list of like number 2 or number 3 picks, I mean, I'll tell you which one wins.
But everyone wants to tank for this quarterback and tank. We have a history of teams trading up. I mean, if you're really convinced that this is your guy, you trade up, you send everything like you have. What's going to happen with other quarterbacks or whatnot. But we want to build. We started this whole stream about building the roster to have.
You build the roster so you can get the guy.
You build the best roster now so that a quarterback can come in and not be in the terrible situation Kyler Murray was in. If you can get a guy next year that
he was in a terrible situation. He was in
Yes.
the only situation. He was in the only situation that he's ever looked good in.
Do you remember the 28?
Look at that roster for 2019. Go look at that 2019 roster. That was an awful situation. They had one of the worst defenses of the league. They had no good offensive linemen, and their best wide receiver, like Brian said, was a 35-year-old Larry Fitzgerald.
Year because he had no choice. He had to be a hero all the time.
But
okay,
Farrell Cooper was your wide receiver too.
This is a conversation for another time.
Continue our fights in our own group chat. Thank you guys for being here. Thanks for anyone who submitted a mock draft. Before we go, we'll have one closing statement from everyone. Thank you for those submissions. I won't be hosting next week. Papa will be back with a few other co-hosts, I believe, but we love these streams. We love talking to you guys. We love looking at your wild ideas, even like Spencer Fano and Caleb Lomu, because it's a great conversation. Keep following all of us on Twitter. Free agency will hopefully continue to be an active thing, so I think you'll see all of us on there. Now, one closing statement, and let's keep it civil, boys. Drew, please start.
Okay, so I promised a little fun anecdote that's completely not football, well, somewhat semi-football related, about the whole Logan Paul situation. In case anyone who hasn't seen that, what happened? Okay, so here's the deal. Tom Brady and Gronk film a video. They go out, they trash talk Logan Paul. Logan Paul comes back, says, I could beat up Tom Brady or any NFL player, and I offer up $1 million for any blah, blah, blah. And then he started putting all BS. Well, here's the deal, guys. Logan Paul is an active WWE wrestler. He shows up every week. He's a bad guy. He's a heel. He talks trash. He does all that. And the day before all that happened, Tom Brady signed a merchandise deal with WWE. The whole thing was a work. It's not real. So all these NFL players and ex-NFL players and Le'Veon Bell, they're getting all butthurt, and I'm going to go beat you up and everything. And he's like, oh, you have to do. It's a work. It's just a work. Shut up. Go back to your lives.
Okay, that I saw the Le'Veon Bell and the Braden Fajoko stuff, but I was not keeping up with that. So, okay. Like everything else in Logan Paul's life, it was fake. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Good to have that settled. Now, Brian, what do you have to leave us with tonight?
Just going to reiterate. If someone is telling you the season's over, whatnot, miss me if it changes.
If we win 12 games, of course I will congratulate you for.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
No, but
If
don't
we
get
win,
excited. Don't do anything else
if
because
we win
I
eight
don't want to hear,
games,
oh, I was wrong, but now I'm on the train. I'm just saying, those the same people that are doing it for clicks or whatnot. I'm not saying we are. Miss me if you're wrong because I want to hear a full apology.
I'm
That's
saying it's
okay. So
trash.
you apologize, you're wrong, you move on with your life. It's
I'm
not
just
that serious.
Well, thank you guys for everyone that was here tonight. We appreciate your mocks. We hope you got some sort of enjoyment out of this. Continue following us for free agent stuff on Twitter. We'll probably all be back in this setup at some point again. This mock draft season, I think we'll also have some different co-hosts coming in, even on the nights that I'm hosting. But thank you guys again. Hope you guys have a great night. Go Cards.